Perhaps one of the most annoying words in the English language is the F word, free. This idea of things being free, and this applies to everybody equally. I take no prisoners on this one. So let me start with the right on this. Whenever you hear someone say, we need to have a law to lock this people up, or we need to build more prisons, or we need to hire more guards, or we need to bring back insane asylums, and on and on and on all the time. And whenever you hear somebody say that, there is no money for any of this. There isn't, right? Now, you could say, look, well, we could find people who would voluntarily pay for all this. Yes, until the money runs out. And what do? Well, then you kind of have to let everybody go free then, don't you? All those people you locked up for smoking the herbage, all those people you locked up because they're crazy, right? You know, or they're crazy in your eyes, right? Because there is a level of relativity there. There's eccentricity that we all have. You know, I mean, you are all equal in my mind. And I notice that people hate being treated equally. I've noticed this. They want to be treated specially. Everybody hates being treated equally, right? They say they want equality, but as soon as you give them equality, they don't want equality anymore. And this is true for everybody, by the way. That's just an observation I've made. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you say that, well, we need to incarcerate, so for example, like, oh, we need to incarcerate illegals. That's expensive. Why are you incarcerating illegals? Why are you not deporting them? That's way faster. You could put them in a trebuchet and launch them back over the border, as far as I'm concerned. But that would be cheaper than incarcerating people. So yeah, I mean, like, incarceration really should be like the last stop. It really should be, because it's expensive and people have to pay for that. Now, they don't have to pay for that, of course, if you can just conjure money out of nothing. This is the hypocrisy that I'm dealing with on the right. Don't worry, leftists, I'll get to you in a second. But this is the hypocrisy of the right, right? It's all about, you know, like, we have endless amounts of money to do all the stuff that we want, but we don't have endless amounts of money for the other people. All right, let me get into the other people now. For people on the left, there is no such thing as free, right? I get the feeling that some of you really believe a little too much of the science fiction books, and you miss the broader stories of what the science fiction books are kind of trying to get through to you about human nature, etc. And you skip over that and say, we can have fill in the blank free energy. There is nothing free. Like, no, we can pull it from the ether. No, you're pulling it from somewhere. And it's not going to be free, and of course, to be able to access it, it's still going to have a cost involved, okay? Well, no, you don't understand, Axel. The deer live free, and they can eat whatever they want and everything. Yes, it's free to the deer, not so much to the blade of grass. If you could talk to the blade of grass probably would be preferred not to be eaten. All energy consumes other energy. That is the way of things. That is, you can be angry about it all you want, but that is reality. You watching this video consume energy. You have no choice. I mean, well, you do. You can choose to not consume energy, and you will waste away very quickly. Even hydrogen and oxygen, right? Water. Even like you are consuming something, okay? And in order to stay alive, and even if it's just, well, I'm a vegan. Well, okay, that's fine. You can be a vegan, and I don't have a problem with that. But don't kid yourself into thinking that you're not consuming life. Plant life is still life. You still have to consume energy. Therefore, nothing is free. Nothing. So every time you think of something like, well, we need to just take care of people and make this basic right or that basic right. The problem when you do that is people's desires are infinite, right? Think about it like this. What would be, if you went back 150 years ago and you asked somebody what they thought would be, they would need for a basic right to exist, what would many of them say? Oh my God, if I had 40 acres, I'm good. Leave me alone. 40 acres, fresh water, fertile soil, I'm good. Leave me alone. That's what they would say, right? Well, that's not what people say now. Now it's like, oh, well, I need a car, and of course I need gas, and of course I need money to spend at the bar, and of course I need to have $70 IPAs. Like this is, you see what I mean? Like this just gets worse and worse and worse, and it will never end. So you'll constantly be in this consumerist, even though I know that a lot of people on the left preach against consumerism, you end up getting stuck in a consumerist type of existence. You understand? Because nothing's free. Now you can say, well, but what about if we earn it? Okay, I'm good with that. And that's actually probably what people should be looking to do on both sides, is saying, well, how about we have a community where we choose to not be a part of all the craziness that's going on that we think is crazy, so that way we wouldn't have to lock any of these people up. You mean borders? Because that's where borders come from. See, I've been over this, and most people never watch these videos past, the statistic, by the way, is 42 seconds across all of them. And so no one ever gets this far. But like, dude, I've covered this. When you get rid of borders, you will get clans. C-L-A-N, not K-L-A-N. Okay, you will get, well, you may get K-L-A-N too, but no, you're going to get clans. People are going to clan up, right? This is a natural thing. Birds of a feather tend to flock together. This is true in all parts of nature. You have but to look at the world around you to see this. This is basic physics, okay? I'm talking about on-Earth physics, right? It's basic. You can observe all of this, okay? So you will end up with that. So if you say, well, why can't we just have our communities? Yes, you can, but you have to build those, right? You build those. There was that Chaz thing in Seattle. You know, let me just talk straight to a lot of you. You know, remember that it was like, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. I'm from Seattle, so I know that area. And it's like, you had the right idea, guys. Go conquer some land, take it, and then build a community. You had the right idea. Wrong location. That already existed, and many of the people there didn't want you there. So now, had you went and done this and gone way out into the wilderness and done it, then nobody would have said anything to you, right? It's sort of like that New Atlantis project or whatever it is, or rebuilding Atlantis or something, the dude out in West Texas. I'm not criticizing anybody, man. I say go try it. Let's see if it works. 20 acres is a bit small, especially if you don't have a lot of resources to pull from in the local area, which is, that's kind of how you start to build your areas. You have to be able to pull resources, or you have to pull resources from outside. It can be done, but that's kind of it's a hard way to go about it, right? So, yeah, this is what I mean. Like, none of this stuff is free. People are going to have to earn all this. The trick is do you keep what you earn? And that's where, go away. That's where the idea of the U.S. came in originally. I'm talking about the original United States. Was that people that moved here, right? They had to work to survive, but they got to keep what they made. That's where all the wealth came from. Okay, that's where all the wealth came from. They got to keep what they made. They settled, and they built their houses and their farms. They started producing, and they kept what they earned. That's where the wealth came from. Every time you allow a bunch of parasites to just keep siphoning off, I'm talking about involuntary. I'm not talking about voluntary. I'm not talking about you deciding to pay a tax or something to support your community. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the involuntary aspect. When you allow that, it descends, because then other people realize that, oh, well, you mean I can just go do this and be a parasite and get a pretend job in the government and therefore live on taxes and so on. Everything I just told you, this is not new information. This is not like radical, over-the-top, insano information. Like, dude, this is like basic stuff that is observable out in the world, and anybody can observe this just by putting the phone down and paying attention. And you will see that all of this that I'm talking about is a thing. If you keep what you earn, okay, whether you're on the left or the right, it doesn't matter. If you keep what you earn, you will be better off. And then you can teach that to other people about, hey, it's important to keep what you earn. Stop letting, one of the fastest ways to solve poverty is to stop letting parasites rip you off.